seemed to kind of put itself in a spot where good habits were developing and some mistakes were coming out of your game. What's the key to picking up right where you left off despite this massive break?
Yeah, great question. But other than that, I think we've had 3 great days of practice. Obviously, we got 2 days off and right into practice. I think the practice has been good. Obviously, when you have a new coach too, you're trying to pay attention in practice, usually a new drill here and there, so that makes you, honest in that. And I think we've had three really good practices, and that's kind of where you build it. So from now on, obviously, I think we played a lot of hockey just before the break, so to be able to get your body in shape and heal up a little bit, that's been great on all of us. But at the end of the day, we want to play and you want to compete, so we should all be ready for tonight.
Guys don't like to get into their injuries, but how are you doing right now, maybe compared to where you were when you first came back, and is it coming around for you? Are you feeling more comfortable with your health?
Yeah, it's way better for sure. I think I've learned how to kind of play with it, and it's still there, but at the same time, I feel like now I can move better out there, and I feel like me and Evan has played better and better throughout these first 20-something games. So it's good. It's a good feeling knowing that it's going to be back to normal, and hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yes, I know you get asked a lot about Evan because you played with him so much, but when is he at his best? Like, when can you sense, especially at 5-on-5, that he's really going?
It's a good question. I think that he's an instinctive guy. He's got such good, quick reads. Like, he reads the game really well, and he reads the pressure situation, not the pressure. Like, you could tell in Winnipeg there was a couple of times where I think I went down and I kind of dropped it back to him on the blue line, and he just made, as a last guy, he's dangling a forward, and when he makes those plays, you know that he's kind of on his game. I'm not telling him or want him to make those risky plays all the time, but when he does, usually he's on his game and he's feeling it, and he's playing really well. So I think he's done that throughout most of this whole year, but especially as of late.
I feel like in that sense, maybe you have to rein him in sometimes a little bit.
Well, at times, yeah, it's one of those things. I've tried to cover up for him a little bit, but at the same time, I haven't had to do that lately because he makes everything look very easy, and he does. It's not that he doesn't do these risky plays; he does them, but he also succeeds with them. So I guess that's a big difference between he's got to read when to do it and not. But I feel like his timing and his sense of reading the game at different times has been really good.
I don't know if you remember Larry Murphy at all. Does that name ring a bell? No, but anyway, somebody told me that he's kind of like Evan is kind of like him in the sense that when a team is really going offensively and has the puck a lot, that's when he really shines. Is that fair? Yeah.
That's probably pretty fair. Yeah, I think he's our best offensive defenseman by a lot, and he does plays out there. His game is offensive. If he would try to just play it safe all the time, I'm not sure why we would have him out there. He's supposed to play this way, and he does it really well. So I just try to encourage him because, he does things that I can't do. So it's nice to have a partner that we can complement each other kind of like that.
Speaking of young defensemen, there's some controversy around Philip Broberg. You were a young defenseman coming over from Sweden, trying to find your way, trying to find a regular spot in the lineup. Take us back to what it's like for Broberg as a younger guy. He's getting impatient here. What's it like being him right now?
I have no idea how it is to be him right now. I can speak from my own experience. Obviously, I think me coming over, I had a full year in the American League and didn't have to think about the NHL or anything. Just kind of adjust to the game over here, to everything that's around, and then got my shot the next year. I was scratched about 20 games, but I played over 60 at least. And you find your way after a while, and you just kind of, what I found was you have coaches that try to make you play a certain way, but and they will always think that what they think is the way to play, but when you're a player, you also got to tune that out at times. You're going to have to play the way your game is, because if you're trying to be somebody else that's not you. I'm not saying this is Philip. I'm saying was my experience growing up and getting into the league. There's times where you just have to think about what do you think is the right thing to do, and overcoming that, because coach can tell you one thing, you do completely opposite, and we score a goal, they're not going to come back with you negatively. They're going to say, oh, that was a great play, even though he didn't say that. So I think for him it's a challenge to find that way, because sometimes it's about being obviously comfortable and you got to play, and those usually work together, because if you don't play, it's hard to be comfortable. So obviously he's a young D-man. He's got all the tools that you can ever ask for a young D-man to have. So I'm sure he's going to figure it out sooner or later. But I think at this time it's just about him. We need him to be playing, and he's not going to develop in the press box. So that's just what that is, and then I'll leave that up to whoever decides what to do. But my experience with it is sometimes there is an adjustment period, and you just need to kind of figure it out yourself.
There are things that are out of your control, right? Like NHL, AHL, the organization makes these decisions, how much ice time you get and all that. And we haven't talked to him yet, we will. But what's your advice sort of on how to deal with the frustration that can come with those things being out of your hands and having to deal day to day with them?
I mean, every situation's unique in that sense too. Everybody deals with it differently. I can't really speak more than the way I handled it, and I was just trying to, first and foremost, always look myself in the mirror and see if I can do anything better. Obviously, as you're saying, there's things that you can't control at times, and there's things that happens throughout the process of getting into the NHL. It's rarely there's guys that just step right in and there's no I guess controversy or what have you. So it's obviously something that will happen, but at the same time, it's the advice for him is just at times you just got to bury your head and keep working, and he's got all the tools, as I said earlier, to be a great defenseman in this league. So I'm sure it's just a matter of time, but I can't tell him to go out and be confident, or whenever he gets a shot or wherever he plays. That's got to be coming from inside, and that's usually the hard part at times.